And he has a young man from Australia who lives with him, travels with him. And I talked to him about it. He said, when he skated out there, as soon as practice was over, and hockey players never, ever, as you know, never, ever, ever walk on cement. You know that.
Yeah.
They just never do it. You walk right across cement with the skates on in the rink. And he said to Darren, call the airport right away. I don't care what you're whining. Get me home as fast as you can. I got to get home to see my mother. As fast as you can. I'll go get changed. Just get me on a plane. I got to get home right away. It was in the afternoon. Anyways, he got home. He got home that day. How did he know? She'd been in a coma for 5 days. She woke up on the third day, and just for a minute or so, and spoke to our daughter Kim, and said she just saw my sister Ellen, who lived with us. I had a mentally challenged sister who died, and she lived with Phyllis and me. And when Kim said, "You did, Mom? Where'd you see her?" She said, "I'm just walking with her, Kim." "You were, Mom?" She said, "Yeah, just walking with Ellen, Kim." 2 days before she died. And she smiled, she lay back down, and then she slept for 2 more days. And then Wayne came home that day, and he's at the foot of her bed, and all of a sudden, her eyes started flickering, and she sat up. He's at the foot of her bed, stared at him for about 15 seconds, and all of a sudden she looked above him like this, slowly, because I'm sitting there holding her hands. She took her 2 hands out of my hand, she looked above him, and she went like this. And about 6 seconds later, slowly like this, her head and her arms came down, and she was gone.
Oh.
But how did he know to come home? How did he know? And you got to hear the last part. He said, I know it sounds stupid. I physically felt her in my arms, and I physically felt her leave. Isn't that incredible?
Wow.
But anyways, I'm going to ask you guys once more time. Who's going to the parade in Toronto in 3 weeks? Who's going to the parade? Who's going to the parade? You going to the parade?
I don't think so.
You know what parade it is? It's a practice parade for the Leafs in case you ever make the playoffs. and listen, while I got you guys standing there, you young guys, see those things at the top there? They were all saved from when I was a young boy, from the river and all that. Whenever you have things like that, save them. Just put them away. Don't throw them away in the garbage. Look, see all that? Those are memories, eh? Look at that. Fun mow down by the river in different places. Phyllis did that. See all the different bottles? That's something you won't see very much because the bottles keep changing, eh? The different cans and. But anyways, before you guys go, anybody got any questions? None?
No.
Come on. I'm still waiting for someone to say, how smart are you, Mr. Gretzky? Oh, you already know?
Oh, yeah.
Nobody have any questions? Oh, one more thing. My father was, the reason we're in Canada, my father was Belarus, which is White Russian. If you said, you Russian, Mr. Gretzy, he would say, yeah, Belaruski, White Russian. Because they were the ones with the wealthy landowners who supported the Tsar, as opposed to the communists. And that's why most of them left. They had to flee the communists. And then my dad's parents and family came to the United States, to Chicago. The First War broke out. My dad was going to join the American Army because he was born in 1893. And all his friends said, if you're going to join the Army, heard this 1,000 times, go to Canada and join the Canadian Army. Because, 1,000 times if not more, they'll treat you better. He came across the border, not knowing how to write English. He made one letter in our name backwards, which we have today. The letter S backwards becomes a Z for a Canadian, Z for an American. I wrote as in the United States, they're SKY. We don't know where they are anymore. We lost track there. But we're ZKY officially. And went overseas, and that farm, what you saw downstairs, that picture of, He bought it on a veteran's loan for $600. Anyways, watch this. 3 years ago, Wayne put $96,000 into fixing the house. $96,000 into, the house was built in 1831. It used to be a hotel, 2-story house, and you couldn't tear it down. How could you tear it down? $600 to show you how the times have changed. And one more thing, my mother came from Poland as a 18-year-old girl by herself, and the government shipped her to Winnipeg. You know, that's what they did with them, eh? Shipped them to Winnipeg. In our lifetime with our mother, we never heard her say the word Winnipeg once.
No.
We never knew till we were teenagers she was ever in Winnipeg. We don't know why. She made her way from Winnipeg to Toronto in the 30s where she met my dad. And one more thing. After my mom died, my mom used to go visit her family. She went once in the 70s to visit them. She physically went, and she used to send them clothes. She'd take a jacket, open the seam up here, and then she'd fold money in here and sew it back up. Not a good jacket, but something they wouldn't steal. So then it got stolen at the border. Then in the next day, she'd write a letter and say, in the left arm of your red jacket, open the seam, you'll find money. Which country's money would she send? That's why I mentioned that. To Poland. Which country? Who knows? Nobody? American money on the black market. It was worth 10 times the amount. Not the bank, the black market. But anyways, the part I wanted to tell you is, after she died in 1988, I kept in touch with her family. Watch this, the communist world. They're pigs. After she died, I kept in touch with her family, just at Christmas and at Easter with a card to Walter Gretzky, because I'm Canadian, not Polish. But I did know who was who. Last year I get a letter from a lady in Toronto. Dear Mr. Gretzky, would you please write me or phone me? I wish to talk to you. I think we're related. Well, I went to see this lady. It's my mother's sister's oldest daughter. She's been living in Toronto since 1991. She's an hour and 10 minutes away from me. She had no idea. That's how uneducated they are in the communist world. Can you imagine? I've since met her. I went to her granddaughter's christening.
You got the look, Walter.
What's the matter now?
Oh, nothing. I just have to get these kids to the Eagles game.
Who she have to get them?
The kids.
The Eagles game.
Anybody else? We need anything?
Nope.
No, we're good.
Sorry. Come on, girls. Come on, princess. Come on.
You only come in the morning, you know?
Isn't that something on the world?
Yeah.
People have no idea how the rest of the world is.
The way it goes.
What did you take your